Here's something very interesting. It's another form of emotional eating. I have had several clients over the years since I first started this whole professional coaching gig back in 2009. I have had a couple clients who knew that they were revenge eaters. They just came right out and said that. Have you ever considered if you might be a revenge eater? Let's take a look. Welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show. Today is episode number 634. The topic, 3 signs you're a revenge eater. Oh my. All right, once again, welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show, or if this is your first time tuning in, welcome for the first time. I am JoLynn Braley. I am the mind-body weight loss coach who put together, founded, created the Inner Self Diet, which is my proven proprietary step-by-step system for breaking free of the struggle, ending emotional eating, binge eating, yo-yo dieting, creating a healthy relationship with food, doing all of this from the inside out. Because where does all of this start? Where do your problems with your eating start? Where do your problems with not being able to lose weight start? It all starts with a thought. You've got to change your mindset if you really want to get a handle on this, and if you really want to have success. If you really want to get normal with food, you've got to change how you think about all of this, how you feel about it, and especially how you feel about yourself, how you think about yourself, what you believe about yourself. Because I'll tell you right now, if you believe that you can't lose weight, you're right, and you never will, because you will prove this belief to be correct. So even just that little piece right there, does it make sense? That mindset is 92.8% of what determines how successful you'll be with changing your eating, breaking free of the unhealthy patterns and habits, and being able to finally live a healthy lifestyle, get that weight off, and keep it off. That is what I do with my coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet. Before we get done here today, I will share with you your first step if you would love to break free. But right now, make sure that you get my cheat sheet. It's totally free. You can get it at easyfunweightloss.com. easyfunweightloss.com. Download my free cheat sheet. You don't want to miss that. So here on today's free weight loss podcast, episode 634, 3 signs you're a revenge eater. What in the world is this about? Revenge eating. I mean, maybe you've heard of that show. I don't even know if it's still on. It was called Revenge Body, and it was about getting back in shape and losing weight after a breakup, I think. Anyway, that's not the same thing as revenge eating, because revenge eating is not going to help you lose weight. And you know what's even worse is if you're a revenge eater and you're not aware that that's what you're doing. A lot of these unhealthy eating behaviors are unconscious, and a big reason that they're unconscious is because you've been doing them so long and you've been having these problems for so long. Almost all of my coaching clients, they started having struggles with their eating and their weight when they were children or as a teenager. And when you think about that right now, just think back. How old were you when you first started having any kind of struggle with your eating and your weight, your body image? Maybe you thought you were fat like I did, but I wasn't. I was just a skinny little kid. I remember I was 7 years old and I sat down on the front seat of my parents' car in the summertime. I was wearing this pair of these little red shorts and I looked down at my thighs and I thought to myself, I am fat. Because no matter what you weigh, you can be a skinny little kid like I was, but when you sit down, your thighs spread out a little bit. And I thought, I'm fat. I wasn't. But that's where all of my problems started. That's where my problems with food started. Overeating. And I still didn't gain weight as a child, but eventually I did. And I proved myself to be correct. Your mind is extremely powerful. Your mind is your driver. Everything in your life first started with a thought. You want to change your mind if you really want to change your body. And before you break free of revenge eating, it'd be a good idea to identify if that is even a problem that you're having. Revenge eating is another style of emotional eating. So what are these 3 signs you're a revenge eater? The first sign is you eat to get back at someone. And this will normally be accompanied by your self-talk in your head of conversations like, F you, you can't tell me what to do, and I'm going to eat this whole cake. Usually you don't tell somebody that, but that's the energy and that's what you're thinking. And you have that emotion behind it. Like, you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to show you. The problem with this is that you only end up hurting yourself. Sure, you're showing that you are in control of what you're putting in your mouth, but in the end, it comes back and it bites you in the butt. That's one sign you're a revenge eater. A sign from one of my coaching clients of her revenge eating is whenever she had a conflict with someone in her life, at her workplace, or in her personal life, she would take it out on food. So instead of expressing her anger in conversation, and I don't mean yelling or anything like that, but being able to talk about what the problem was and work through that, she would eat to stuff it and to try to avoid it, which is also another style of emotional eating, avoidance eating. And you can look here in the JoLynn Braley Show. Search for that word, avoidance. I've done a podcast on that also, on avoidance eating. So that's the second sign that you're a revenge eater, that you're using food to take out your anger about a situation instead of having the conversation. And it's like you're getting back at the problem or getting back at the person through the food, through the eating, but you're also avoiding it. And it's just a big old kerfuffle because, again, it ends up hurting you in the end. Because believe me, you're not going to revenge eat on a bowl of fresh steamed broccoli. It's always going to be some kind of food that is high in calorie. It is not going to lead you towards your ideal body. It's going to keep you stuck, and then you're going to be stuck in the muck after you go through this revenge eating, because then you will more than likely feel ashamed of yourself, bad about yourself, put yourself down, and go through all of that emotional turmoil and create more emotional baggage for yourself to carry around, which is another problem in all of this. This entire issue of weight loss, you're overweight because of your eating behaviors. There's so much more to it than a food diet can fix for you. Does that make sense? If a food diet were enough, how many healthy eating plans do you already have? How many healthy eating plans have you done before that worked as long as you did them? If all you needed were a healthy eating plan, and if there was no mental or emotional component to any of this, if there was no relationship component, no relationship with food, with yourself, with emotional baggage, if there was none of that, then all you'd have to do would be to just follow that healthy eating plan, right? There wouldn't be any big deal. There's a lot more to it than that. So what is the third sign that you're a revenge eater? And this one is very interesting because it's like, and you're either conscious of this or unconscious. More than likely, this would not be a conscious action. But it's like unconsciously you're trying to get revenge on food, being so angry at food because the foods that you rely on, the foods that you turn to for comfort, the foods that you look forward to, they make you fat. And so consciously or unconsciously, being angry about that and wanting to get back at the food for making you overweight, it's very interesting and a little bit complicated, but are you following me even a little? And like I said, most are not going to be sitting there binge eating a half gallon of ice cream, telling themselves that, they're doing that to get back at food and have revenge on food. But it's an unresolved relationship issue with the food, that needs to be resolved to let that anger go and to make peace with food so that you can break free of this eating behavior. Out of all of the signs that you're a revenge eater, the most typical one is when you're eating foods that somebody else told you not to eat, and it could have been a long time ago. Could be that when you were a child, your grandmother or your mother told you, don't eat that, it's going to make you fat. And here you are 30, 40 years later, and you're still eating it as a way to give them the middle finger and say, Nana, Nana, Boo Boo, you can't tell me what to do. And more than likely, all these years later, you're not going to be thinking of that anymore. And this behavior could have just turned into such a habit that it is completely unconscious, but it's taking you away from where you want to be. If where you want to be is at your best weight, your healthiest weight, looking your best in your jeans, having a healthy relationship with food, not feeling restricted or resentful about how you're eating, feeling at peace and at choice, feeling empowered, feeling happy about the food choices that you make, and feeling good in your own skin. You really can have all of this, and it doesn't happen, oh my gosh, it doesn't happen with one of those shots that seem to be so popular now. I should do another podcast on that because I recently heard that, I'll just make this really short. When you tell yourself, tune into your gut, listen to your gut, you literally process many of your emotions in your gut. You know what those shots do? They shut that down. So it's like a lobotomy for your emotional state. Oh my gosh. If you shut that down, that takes out everything else. It takes out, you can't just shut down negative emotion or food obsessions. It takes the higher levels, the joy and everything else along with it. And now that I'm speaking about this, but like I said, I should do a full podcast about this. I have read about increased cases of depression from those who take those shots, who do those shots in their belly just to try to lose weight. Why not instead address your relationship with food and with yourself and break free naturally by getting the right mindset, which is 92.8% of this? Why get a lobotomy for your gut, for your emotional state, with an unnatural shot just to lose weight? Do you know what I mean? Wow. Oh. But sticking here on this topic of revenge eating, another form of emotional eating, which could go into binge eating also. In fact, it definitely can lead to a binge with all of that emotion behind it. So I hope that you gained even a little bit of insight and clarity from this talk here today on my free weight loss podcast. But what do you want to do next? How many more years do you want to battle alone? How many more years do you want to try to figure this out on your own? Or are you fed up and frustrated with it and you want to heal? You want to heal your relationship with food, with yourself. You want to let the emotional baggage go. You want to break free of the binge eating, the emotional eating, the yo-yo dieting, the compulsive overeating, the sugar addiction, the food addiction, relying on food to get you through, relying on food for your comfort. Do you want to lose weight for good? This is what I help my coaching clients do. My coaching clients break free of the struggle in 8 weeks or less. I used to think that was a long time, but I've had too many clients tell me, no, that's really fast because I've been dealing with this problem my whole gosh darn life. Do you want to break free? Do you want help to do it? Because coaching is the fastest way to get from where you are to where you want to be. If you want to do this, your first step, I'll give it to you right now. Go to www.discovery-session.com. It's a really simple webpage, discovery-session.com. Keep it simple. Enter your name, your first name, and your email address. Click the button. On the next page, there should be a button there that you click, which will open an application. What this is an application to apply for a complimentary weight loss discovery session with me on the phone to find out what is going on with you personally. Because, hey, what's going to change if you just keep going as you are? What is going to be different? Have you ever heard of Einstein's definition of insanity? Continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again while expecting a different result. Well, if you want to break free of that and you want to break free of your unhealthy eating patterns and lose weight for good, then go apply for this complimentary weight loss discovery session now. I cannot guarantee how long the line will be. You have to get in queue. So if you really are serious about healing this problem, if it makes sense to you that, hey, look at all the food diets I've done, and here I am, still struggling with the same old stuff. If you don't want to do that anymore, and you want my help to break free, go to discovery-session.com and get started there. If you want some hope from some of my past clients, I put together a free series here in the JoLynn Braley Show. The easiest way to find these podcast episodes is to go to fearlessfatloss.com/blog. In the search bar, type in the 2 words, real results, and you'll be able to find my sub-series on real results from the inner self diet. Listen to what these clients of mine have said in the interviews that I did with them after they graduated. Hear what their problems were before they met me, and hear how they transformed by doing my proven steps. Listen to them instead of listening to me if you want to increase your level of hope that there is another way, a better way, a healing way. And the place to apply for that complimentary weight loss discovery session is at www.discovery-session.com. I'm JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the Inner Self Diet, the diet that you need to truly break free. I wish you your best life living inside of your ideal body.